Parker Schnabel lives like a gold miner, not just a prospector. With the toys to show it, this Yukon mining prodigy has amassed a fortune that most people can only imagine. Imagine driving a tough Ford Raptor across the untamed landscape of Alaska, then shifting into a sumptuous Mercedes G-Wagon to cruise the gentler roads. ATVs, a customized Chevy Silverado, and a home with picture-perfect mountain vistas can all be found on his 45-acre estate. However, how did a little Klondike boy become one of the richest miners in the world? Let's first examine how Parker came to amass this enormous fortune. Parker wasn't the beginning of the Schnabel family's gold quest, and if you believe it was an easy one, you couldn't be more mistaken. When Parker's grandfather, John Schnabel, was a young man with a lofty aim in the early 1900s, this story began. Think of him then. Leaving everything he knew behind and packing his bags. He focused on the Klondike, a harsh, untamed region with mountains, snow, and little else. John was prepared to see if he might discover some of the gold that had been talked about in those hills for years. Now, gold mining wasn't the same as it is now. There were no sophisticated devices or simple methods for locating the hidden gold. It all came down to a lot of luck and hard effort. John had to merely dig and hope for days, weeks, and perhaps months. He undoubtedly felt as like he was pursuing an impossible dream on many of the days when he failed to find even a glimmer of gold. John, however, didn't give up easily. Every setback only motivated him to push harder. He was tough and gradually began to pick up the skills necessary for the job. He acquired abilities, learned where to look, and became adept at separating a promising location from a bad one. John settled into a rhythm throughout the years. He became very skilled at it after learning what worked and what didn't. John soon began to truly strike gold as a result of all that hard effort. He must have been ecstatic to see that shiny metal, knowing that it was all his. He gradually became one of the most prosperous miners in the area after suffering as a young man. After several decades, John was no longer merely surviving. He was a millionaire because he was sitting on a wonderful, large pile of gold. There, John Schnabel became a legend after all those years of sweating, failing, and learning the ropes had finally paid off. Both his name and his story were well known. He was authentic. However, John wasn't the only member of the Schnabel family. Parker, John's grandson, comes along years later. Parker has been by his grandfather's side since he was a young child, absorbing as much information as he could about mining. Imagine this. Toy cars and cartoons were the main interests of most children his age, but Parker? No. His grandfather's actions already captivated him. His eyes would light up as he watched the large equipment move dirt and listened to the drills and diggers make clanking and rumbling noises. What's the best part? The excitement of discovering real gold. Parker's curiosity only deepened as he grew older. He was already learning how to operate small equipment by the time he was 10. Picture him out there, this young man working with experienced miners, his grandfather right there, watching over him. What's even more remarkable is that Parker was gifted at this. He seemed to have a sixth sense when it came to spotting gold. Parker had something unusual, a sort of gold sense that helped him discover locations worth digging, and even seasoned miners began to notice. Parker's grandfather then made the decision to let him try managing things independently when he was just 16 years old. The idea of running a mining business would have made most youngsters cringe, but Parker was unconvinced. John gave him the reins, let him figure it out, and leased him a portion of his own claim. This implied that Parker was in charge of the personnel, the equipment, and the bills. The town's residents felt it was crazy. Isn't it weird that a 16-year-old is operating a gold mine? Parker, however, embraced the challenge wholeheartedly. He assembled a group of nearby miners, put on his work boots, and got to work. It turns out that Parker was more than just a gold prospector. He was a natural leader as well. He put a lot of effort into making that first season a success. And what he discovered was success. News of this juvenile mining prodigy who was indeed extracting gold from the earth circulated swiftly. People found it hard to believe, yet it was there. Parker had discovered a significant amount of gold by the end of that first season, and he was already being referred to as a rising star in the mining industry. Parker only improved his mining skills as he continued to do it year after year. He wasn't just a kid playing in the mud by 2012. He was rising to prominence as a Yukon miner. His reputation had increased along with his skill set. Parker immediately received an offer to star in a show about gold mining after the major TV networks took notice. That's how he got on the popular Discovery Channel show Gold Rush, which exposed him to millions of viewers. It was the ideal show. Parker had a distinct energy that the audience adored, and he was youthful and ambitious. He was as intelligent, agile, and resolute as his grandfather had been in the past. People were enamored with him from that first show. He was a fan favorite because of his approach to obstacles, his willingness to take chances, and his unwavering determination. Let's be honest. Parker wasn't being cautious. He persisted in pushing himself, bringing in more larger machinery and pursuing larger claims. He aimed for more gold each season, set new objectives, and put forth endless effort to get them. In little time at all, Parker was breaking records, extracting millions of dollars and thousands of ounces of gold. He had established himself as a significant force in the gold mining industry by expanding his business well beyond anyone's expectations. And just when it seemed impossible, 2016 came around and the Schnabel family had to deal with a devastating situation. Parker's rockin' mentor, his grandfather John, died at age 96. It was difficult for Parker to lose John. He learned everything from this man, who also had faith in him and helped shape him into the miner he is today. It was more than just losing a relative, it was losing his mentor and staunchest ally. Parker, however, was not deterred by his melancholy. It fueled him, if anything. He vowed to himself that he would continue his grandfather's history and make John proud by preserving the Schnabel name and prospering in the mining industry. Parker thereby assumed significant control of Schnabel Mine. He grew his business by purchasing additional Yukon claims, such as Eureka Creek, which is thought to be among the most lucrative unexplored gold regions in the region. Parker had stopped playing little. In an effort to extract as much gold as possible from the earth, he was managing several claims with personnel working around the clock. Even if he was driven, things weren't always easy. His profits were in danger of being wiped out due to setbacks, poor hires, equipment issues, and excessive spending. He had to make some difficult decisions to keep things going since the strain was real. Parker persisted, nevertheless. He became more astute in his tactics, adjusting his strategy and learning from his errors. He continued to assemble a solid team by identifying individuals who shared his vision and enthusiasm. Parker Schnabel is aware that the Yukon is more than just a gold prospecting destination. It is a rocky, untamed area with stunning vistas, a variety of wildlife, and a natural beauty that must be preserved. Parker has always recognized the responsibility that comes with mining, despite the fact that his activities have expanded over time. Although there may be gold beneath the surface, the land and water above it are equally valuable, particularly for coming generations. His main goal is to ensure that the Yukon remains as untamed and breathtaking as it was when he and his grandfather began mining. Purchasing specialized equipment to make his mining as clean as possible was one of the first things Parker did when his operations began to grow. As anyone who has witnessed certain older mining operations knows, they can leave a disaster in their wake. Contaminants that can damage rivers and streams, such as contaminated water, leftover dirt, and chemicals. Parker isn't interested in that, though. He does it cleverly. He spent a lot of money on sophisticated machinery that prevents garbage and other harmful chemicals from leaking into the ground and water near his facilities. To ensure that any water leaving his mines is as pure as possible, he employs sophisticated filters and other equipment. Parker's crew doesn't simply pack up and depart after mining in a certain location. Not at all. They start working on revitalizing the land. They level the ground, remove any remaining debris, and plant trees and plants that are indigenous to the Yukon. Do you know what's incredible? It does work. Animals eventually begin returning to the recovered regions. Like they know their home is secure and comfortable once more, birds, deer, and even some smaller animals return. Parker takes pride in that. He is aware that he is not merely enriching himself. He is ensuring that wildlife can continue to flourish on the land. Furthermore, Parker is considering more than simply his personal mines. He wants the area to be treated with respect by all Yukon mining activities. He has advocated for more sensible regulations and procedures in the mining sector using his notoriety from Gold Rush. He has met with experts and leaders to develop rules that allow responsible mining while also protecting the environment. Younger miners now consider him to be somewhat of a mentor, instructing them on how to locate gold without causing damage to the soil. Parker is a proponent of purposeful mining and has demonstrated that it is quite feasible to generate revenue while maintaining the health of the environment. His mining achievements and reverence for the land have encouraged other miners to experiment with environmentally benign methods, improving the Yukon for all. Parker's success has also been aided by his careful approach. He was already earning millions by the middle of his 20s. His work on Gold Rush, in which cameras follow him around to document the struggles and triumphs of his mining life, contributed to that in part. Now, if you believe that reality TV is low-paying, reconsider. Parker was earning about $100,000 for each episode, or roughly $2 million for a season. And keep in mind that's only a portion of his income. His mining is where the true riches is found. As you can see, the Schnabel family has a monopoly-like number of claims throughout the Yukon, and Parker is the one who ensures they make the most of each location. He and his group collected more than 3,500 ounces of gold in one season. It's nearly $5 million. Most of us can only imagine what it would look like to fill a bathtub with gold bars. Parker continued to add millions more to his bank account each year as he increased his gold hoard. However, Parker makes more than that. He became famous during the gold rush. And large corporations took notice. Parker was suddenly bombarded with endorsement agreements for anything from tough outdoor apparel to mining equipment firms. He used his notoriety as a source of more revenue before making investments that improved his business. To continue growing his company, he made wise investments, hired out even larger machinery, and purchased top-notch vehicles for moving equipment around. Gold was not the only thing that made Parker famous. It all came down to being a savvy businessman who understood how to maximize every dollar. Parker has a net worth of about $10 million as a result of all of his gold rush earnings, mining income, sponsorships, and investments. And it keeps rising. For a guy who began playing in the dirt, it's not awful, is it? Parker, however, is quite laid back about his riches, in contrast to some millionaires who enjoy flaunting it. He maintains a simple lifestyle by living in functional, hassle-free housing in his mining sites. Parker is not a fan of ostentatious homes or expensive vehicles. Rather, he invests the majority of his money back into his company, purchasing new claims and better equipment to maintain his organization strong and operating efficiently. But even Parker, who is so grounded, enjoys treating himself occasionally. His residence is in Alaska, where he has a stunning 45-acre estate with a picture-perfect log cabin. Imagine this. A comfortable cottage with large windows, comfortable furnishings, and breathtaking views of the mountains everywhere. After a grueling mining season, it's the ideal spot for him to relax. He's not only keeping the house under wraps, either. Parker has a toy store full of cars for his leisure activities. He has excellent trucks, ATVs, and everything he needs to tackle the difficult Yukon roads or explore the untamed Alaskan scenery. However, it doesn't end there. Parker's made some further real estate investments. Establishing a small real estate business. In addition to earning some extra money from his commercial facility in Haines, Alaska, he also owns a vacation apartment in the Yukon that allows other people to enjoy the stunning northern wilderness in luxury. Another way he manages his wealth well is through his real estate portfolio, which ensures he has revenue from all sources. It would be impossible to discuss Parker's achievements without bringing up his automobile collection. Each of his impressive rides appears to be designed for a unique adventure. His Ford Raptor, which is essentially the best truck for navigating the Yukon's rugged off-road terrain, is one example. Parker has a Mercedes G-Wagon, which blends luxury and toughness, for those more comfortable rides. When he wants to take it slow and appreciate the journey without all the glitz, he also has a vintage Jeep Wrangler. Additionally, he has a customized Chevy Silverado that is ideal for both business and play, making it even more special. Parker's mining claims are being worked on by a large fleet of vehicles and heavy machinery in addition to those cars. Parker has everything he needs to keep his business operating well, including rock crushers and excavators. When Parker does get time away from mining, however, he enjoys going fishing in his expensive boat or visiting far-flung locations from the Yukon to unwind and discover the world outside of gold mining. His fame and fortune have allowed him to live a lifestyle that strikes a balance between the opportunity to appreciate life's finer things and the mental labor he does. The truth is that Parker Schnabel has a big heart in addition to being a serious gold miner. There is more to this man than himself. He is aware that without the people in his life, he would not be where he is now. He considers his crew to be like family. Parker goes above and beyond to express his gratitude, arranging lavish trips for his staff and ensuring they receive substantial incentives. He makes sure they are aware of his appreciation for their hard work. It's more than just the gold for Parker. It's about caring for those who contribute to the magic that occurs each season. However, Parker's kindness extends beyond his crew. He has strong ties to Alaska and remembers the towns where he grew up. Parker donates a portion of his earnings to the community each season, contributing to local causes through donations. Whether it's funding kids' sports, animal shelters, or even veteran organizations, he is all about giving back. He wants his hometown and the entire area to benefit from his success, not only monetarily, but also in the form of constructive change. When the power goes out during Alaska's severe winters, it can be difficult, particularly for those without the means to cope. Parker therefore spends time distributing goods to elderly and families and assisting with housing projects while he isn't in the Yukon. He doesn't want to watch other people suffer. He gets his hands dirty and gets things done. Parker has high hopes for Alaska's future as well. The next generation is already on his mind. He established a scholarship at his former high school to encourage young people to pursue careers in engineering and mechanics, which are extremely valuable, particularly in a country like Alaska. It's how he gives others the opportunity to embark on their own travels, just like he did. Parker's impact extends beyond the here and now. He's laying the groundwork for future generations to prosper as well. Teaching kids how to mine is only one aspect of it. The goal is to encourage people to pursue their goals, no matter what they may be. Now, don't misunderstand. Despite his love of mining, Parker has many other interests. He's an adventurer at heart when he's not in the Yukon. His novels about the mining heritage of his family have even achieved success. Like several baseball card collectors, he is a history buff and collects antique mining implements. He enjoys exploring every part of the earth, from ancient ruins to rainforests. Naturally, he loves hunting, hiking, and fishing back in Alaska. He finds his equilibrium and happiness in nature. When mining gets intense, those pastimes help him stay grounded and remind him of what really counts. Let's face it, though, Parker has ambitious ideas that extend well beyond Alaska. He's just in his late 20s, yet he's already exploring new areas for me to visit. His future destination is unknown, although British Columbia is on his radar. Perhaps Africa, Australia, or South America. It's not only about finding more gold, Parker wants to establish a global mining empire. He and his team are developing new technologies to mine more intelligently because he is a forward thinker. Robots, lasers, and other sci-fi devices are being tested in an effort to extract gold with less damage to the environment. For Parker, the goal is to improve and sustainably mine in the future. Despite being at the top of his game, Parker is already anticipating the next phase. He has a niece named Amelia who shares his childhood passion for mining. It appears that she may continue the Schnabel mining family name after he has been teaching her everything he knows and showed her the ropes. Parker might eventually take a step back, concentrate on long-term objectives, and travel more. He is determined to uphold the Schnabel legacy, but he is also eager to experience any new adventures that may arise. You can be sure that anything he does next will be significant, audacious, and memorable.